when the Minnesota Vikings surprisingly cut starting right guard Josh Kline earlier this offseason, everyone's kind of scratching their heads, right? So you signed him up to a 3-year deal last offseason as a free agent. He was probably your second or third best offensive lineman last season, and then you just let him go. I mean, yes, he had issues with concussions and potentially medical issues, but also the Vikings were completely done with Josh Kline. They would just cut him, as opposed to what actually happened is they approached him for a restructure, right? They're like, hey, come back, lower number, do this, do that. Josh Kline was like, nah, I'll take my chances on the open market. But then the Rona shutdowns happened, and Josh Kline was sort of stuck, right? As was a number of other free agents. You look around the NFL, same thing, Everson, same thing with Jadeveon Clowney. All the Clowney's different, whatever. But now with teams already spent their free agent money, as well as teams already have their draft classes in, there simply is not a place for Josh Kline to go and be automatically assume a starting job. So I think that's why Josh Kline and the Vikings have been maintaining a bit of contact and have been like, we'll see what happens here. Maybe we'll run it back, maybe we won't, right? So you look at Josh Kline, where he is a veteran. He succeeded very nicely in the Viking scheme. He did great when he was in New England a couple years ago, playing both left and right guard. Tennessee, little. But I was pleasantly surprised by Josh Kline. I think his mobility in the outside zone scheme was on point. I think he was a really very solid pass blocking guard as well, at least better than Dakota Dozier as well as Pat Elflein. And as the season approaches, it does seem like the Vikings are going to give every opportunity to Dakota Dozier, to Pat Elflein, to potentially take one of those starting spots, or in Elflein's case, retain the starting left guard spot. Now, we'll see how much training camp that teams are allowed to have if preseason does go down, because I think that the Vikings could potentially see that this plan ain't working out. Or if the plan is to let the two young guys, the two second-year players, Juice Samia last year, 4th-round pick out of Oklahoma, or Olu Udoh last year, 6th-round pick out of Elon, if they're going to take up the mantle as one of those guard spots, or maybe they actually do believe that Ezra Cleveland will be good at guard, which I say if he's going to be the best left tackle in the league, just let him be left tackle, but that's an argument for another day. So I think the Vikings right now, they know they have Josh Kline in their back pocket, because they know for a fact that he's not going to go anywhere and get a big contract. He's not going to go anywhere and start. So I think that it's a bit of a holding pattern. And if you're Josh Kline, it's like, all right, I'm not going to get a massive deal. Maybe opting out instead of taking a pay cut was a mistake. But I know that I can always go back to Minnesota, where Rick Dennison, where I worked well with him as the offensive line coach last year. Gary Kubiak is still there. The same scheme is in place. The same teammates are still there. And so it's an easy spot to succeed. I can come in as a veteran. Don't really need all that much training camp, to be honest. So if things are a little bit wonky or hitting the fan, I can just go back to Minnesota. And hell, if things actually are really, really hitting the fan, like say this even gets in the season, right? Elflein's a disaster. Maybe Samia's not ready. Maybe Dakota Dozier, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe Olu Udoh, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe there's some sort of alien abduction on the offensive line. Josh Kline can go to the Vikings week 4 like, all right, baby, I'm back. I want every dime that was owed to me, and prorated, and a little bit extra. Right, so that could turn into leverage for him. And given the state of the Vikings offensive line the last couple of years, I don't think that's necessarily incorrect thinking. Right, so I think that Josh Kline is still very much in the Viking sphere. I think both sides are playing a wait-and-see game, but if Elflein or Dakota Dozier falters, or if some of the young kids don't step up, I think they easily could circle back and be like getting the band back together with Josh Kline. Or, I mean, Kline just could be waiting, again, for alien abductions on another team, finding himself an opening there. But a lot like Everson Griffin, the Vikings, I think Josh Kline and the Vikings, I mean, there's a reason why there's 3 open roster spots, even though the window for free agents counting against you for compensatory picks is closed weeks ago. So I think that they're specifically holding on to a couple roster spots, as well as a little chunk of cap. Be like, we'll see. All right, but your thoughts, Josh Kline. I still think that he potentially could be in the Vikings plans going forward. Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. If you want to support the work, pull us up in the Venmo. Please give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skol. Production value.